from my favorite. I have a favorite group.
Okay.
It isn't a favorite
if
hero.
You say the tank top fools, I'm gonna be.
Is it my turn?
He's gonna say the tank top fools. Oh my God.
You're misunderstanding me. I'm not talking about.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. You already know what it is. Another episode of the Super Agile Bros. Super excited to have you guys here. As always, this episode is going to be bowling because today we're going to be talking about One Punch Man, the anime. If you don't know it, you need to know it. There's a lot of opinions that are going to be shared about this. This is going to be just a warning. This is going to be a spoiler-rific, One Punch Man thing. So just a heads up. Yeah, the 2 seasons we have seen. I don't even know if there's the 3rd season is coming, I think. But I guess we'll get into that. But as always, we got our other hosts here. The host with the most. We got Kyle in the building. Kyle, tell the people, hey.
What's up, y'all? Hey.
And you already know who it is, Steve, the boy himself. What's up, Steve?
I am a boy of God. He calls me boy.
Friend. Oh, boy.
Yes, boy. Child.
Boy.
I guess that's kind of an inside joke.
Boy.
There's like one man on this planet who knows. One boy, I should say, on this planet who gets that joke.
Boy, come here. All right, so let's get into this. I mean, I think there'll be some people who get it. Yeah. It's a deep cut.
They hope.
Jokes. Yeah, so this is something we're going to be talking about. So this episode, we're going to be talking about One Punch Man. So out the gate, I want to hear, what do you guys think about the show? What is your rating, 1 out of 10, if you got one? Wink, wink, Steve. And, yeah, why? Why? So I guess we'll go around the table, man. 3 hams to the yams, a.k.a. Kyle. What do you think about One Punch Man?
First off, I love this table. Was this mahogany?
Thank you.
So One Punch Man, great show. I really enjoyed it. I've watched the least amount of anime between the 3 of us, I'm certain.
Yeah, I'm certain as well.
I love anything to do with superheroes, so it automatically gets a pretty high rating out of me. Wish it had more than just the 2 seasons, but just for what it is, I give One Punch Man a 8 out of 10. Solid.
And do you feel like you give the 8 out of 10 for like both seasons combined? Would you give them different ratings if you went per season, or do you feel like in its totality it's like it's a solid 8?
Yeah, so in its totality I give it an 8, and so I give season 1 a 7 and season 2 a 9, and so it evens out at an 8.
This man went for the averages. Okay,
averages.
I see you.
We doing it.
All right. Okay. What about you, Mr. Steve? What do you rate this here show?
Well, it's a show that I really appreciate. I loved how. I just love anything with a good sense of humor. I struggle to say that it has good writing because it feels like the writing is very smart and very focused on what he's trying to do, but it's not like a lot of it. There's not a lot of stuff that happens. It's mostly action, cool action, at least at first. But I like it a lot. In lieu of a rating, which I don't feel comfortable giving it like a number, I'll just say I like it. Basically, yeah, I like it. I really enjoy the humor. I love the way that it subverts superheroes. I like watching it in Japanese because you get all the funny little sounds that the voice actor makes. I don't know if Kyle watched it in Japanese. I don't know if they do the same thing in English.
Wait, there's a dubbed version?
Is there?
Yeah,
I assume there is.
There's a dub version.
Sure.
I haven't watched the dub.
Wow, you actually watched it in Japanese.
I wasn't aware of it.
Like a true anime fan. He knows what he's on. But yeah, it's really great. If I had to give it a number rating, I would say it's a 5 out of 10, but that's only because I'm only rating it on a scale of I hate it, I like it, or I love it. So it's in the middle. It's a 5 out of 10.
Right, so it sounds like Steve gave it an 8. So how
dare you?
I'm not. I'm just telling you. That's what it sounds like.
He's just commenting. He's not. Yeah.
I'm just saying, from my personal opinion, it sounds like you like the show. It's not the greatest show you've ever seen, but you enjoyed it for what it was, and it's a show that you would, you enjoyed, and that's like a solid 8.
Eight train.
I don't recall exactly. It did not show up on my top 5 anime list, I think. But that doesn't mean it's bad.
No, I don't think so. But I mean,
it was number 6.
It doesn't mean I feel like there's shows that I would put on my top 10 that I would rate like lower than maybe an 8, but it's because of what it means to me. It's not necessarily like it depends on like everybody has different criteria for rating, but like you have your personal
sure
like rating. So
yeah.
it is what it is. But no, I mean I feel you guys. I feel like I'm right there with you guys. So okay, full disclosure. I mean, one of our earlier episodes, I kind of said that I didn't watch One Punch Man through because I was like, this is kind of like boring to me and not interesting because of what was happening. But after the guys kind of convinced me to watch it, I am happy I went back and watched it. Interestingly enough, I went against, this is just something that's happened recently because I'm just too busy. Like, I don't watch subs like I used to. Like, it used to be just treason for me to watch any anime dubbed. But I feel like the dubs
it still is.
It still is, but I've have to accept that like sometimes you got to commit a little bit of treason to be great. But I watched it dubbed and it was great. Like many dubs are trash, but this dub was like, as a person who's watched a lot of anime, like sure I probably missed some Japanese what do you call it? Small idiosyncrasies and little things like that, but like I think they did a great job trying to convey the point.
I'm but yeah, I can watch that.
I will say it used to be, I think people our age have the sense that dubs are evil, but that's only because early dubs were terrible. I think a lot of anime is dubbed really well.
Let that child alone.
I think about like 4Kids with their Yu-Gi-Oh dub.
Oh man, and they would go beyond just. They would redraw the show. Like they wouldn't just dub it; they would change it.
Yeah, that's not dubbing. That's localization.
I feel like the most memorable trash dub I can think of was what's it called, Knights of the Zodiac. Like it used to show up on Cartoon Network. First of all, that show to me is absolute garbage. But like the dubs made it that much worse. It's like the story wasn't interesting, and then it's like, it's time for me to go and do, like, it just to me was garbage. But yeah, nowadays I feel like anime makes enough money now that like it attracts good talent.
And they've realized that it actually matters. Not that just that they can get better talent, but that they know it actually makes sense to get good talent because we're going to roast them if they come out here with
the bar's been set higher. Like
and some shows did such a good job, like Full Metal Alchemist, Brotherhood, Samurai Champloo, Cowboy Bebop, you name it. And matter of fact, Spike, Mugen, like they have like the same voice actor for like a similar archetype of character. And so anyway, like as far as the show, like I really enjoyed it. So the interesting thing about it was that I was trying to binge watch it so that we could talk about it kind of on the podcast in the past.
A few weeks ago, right?
Yeah, like quite a while ago now. I guess it's been about 2 months, maybe.
We kept pushing it off.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
It was a while ago. But what was crazy is I started watching it at the same time that my mother-in-law was in town, and of course,
she was watching it with you.
She watching too.
She watched it with me, and dog, I feel like it was such a better experience watching it like with her and my wife in the dubbed, it was so ridiculous. We were dying laughing. Like, she was like, "Why is that man?" Like, she was asking all the right questions. I was like,
Yes.
like, I feel like, I got corrected on Twitter that One Punch Man isn't a satire, but like, it's
Wait. You got corrected on Twitter by, like, you tweeted something and then somebody responded and said,
yes.
"Wow,
You're wrong.
are you famous?"
No, I'm not famous. It's just that I guess
Yes.
somebody saw my tweet and I think it was somebody who follows me, and he kind of corrected some things. He said that. Well, first of all, let me ask you guys, like, if from your opinion, before I said this, did y'all take this as a satire of anime? Like, is that what was y'all took it as?
I mean, I feel like technically no, but like, if you're just describing something, I feel like satire is like a kind of good surface level way to describe it. I think a better way would have been like subversive, or something subversive maybe. Satire, I mean, it's funny, so people just immediately think satire, and I get that.
I think
I don't know if I
anime, like, from the start, is like known for playing those boundaries and turning stuff on its head. Like, I don't know, just from the few that I've watched, nothing's like normal. And then like the stuff that they kind of allude to in the real world, they usually do kind of really play it up and, point out all the flaws in it, whatever it is, whatever the subject is.
Yeah, there's definitely satirical elements. They'll roast certain like character types or like the way people think or act.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, it felt kind of so much like a satire to me because, like, particularly when, talking about the two kind of main characters in the show, Saitama, who's One Punch Man, and then Genos, and kind of how they interact with the world. It's almost like one of them is a traditional anime character who is, like, driven by some, like, really important reasoning and has a certain purpose and has these like there's moments where
tragic backstory.
Tragic backstory, and he's talking to Saitama and he's like, "I believe that it is time for me to understand," and like Saitama's just sitting there like, "Oh my goodness."
He thinks like an anime character.
Exactly, and he talks and he shares these long-winded stories, and then there's Saitama who's literally just like, "Yo, I'm just bored and like I'm just looking to have some fun doing this," and like, I don't know. So to me, it felt like a satire, and a lot of the characters felt very tropey, like,
100%. Yeah.
So it's like, to me, it felt very deliberate that this type of character is in here. And, you got the woman who does this and the guy who does this. And, so.
All the other heroes are tropes. Most of the villains are tropes. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But sometimes they start as tropes, but then he fleshes them out and gives them more actual like presence and in the show.
Yeah. Well, so let me ask you this. Okay, so let me share with you what I can't remember the user's name on Twitter, but he basically said that the writer of One Punch Man said that the One Punch Man is just following the main character after he's finished his hero arc. So we're almost seeing him after he's already done what he had to do to become great.
It's like an epilogue for another show.
Yeah. So like, we're seeing Goku Super Saiyan X at his greatest level as he interacts with people who are still on their hero's journey. And,
yeah, sure. That doesn't seem like a particularly deep comment to me. I mean, it's from the author, I get that, but it doesn't sound like yeah, that's obviously what it is. We get that, but that also doesn't really explain or describe the show, because it isn't just another anime. It isn't like the epilogue to another action anime. It's definitely funnier and more ridiculous and more tropey. Like,
for sure.
And it
ignores a lot of the show.
And it seems like that's kind of like a surface level approach because, sure, he's gotten to his maximum strength, I guess, before the show actually starts. But it's kind of also alluded to the fact that, you know, a lot of the other heroes, they're older, more seasoned, like they've peaked too, so they're not on a journey necessarily. And even arguably Saitama is still on a journey to become like an actual hero. I mean,
right?
It's only surface level because his strength, maybe he's not going to get any stronger, but it's like his journey is still happening.
Yeah,
he's doing the hero journey backwards. Instead of having a motivation that causes him to become strong, he becomes strong and then lacks motivation and is looking for like a motivation and a reason to do what he's doing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's interesting, that you say it that way. I mean, I'll once again, I didn't do research on this person's claims, so it may be true or not. Hey, correct us in the comments. You know, if there's some greater meaning to what the author had, or the writer. But it is what it is. But yeah, like I feel like for Saitama, his story, because every once in a while it would show a flashback to Saitama, right? Like to him, like before he became bald One Punch Man, like he was still kind of getting strong. But even his like original like story when he saved that little kid from what was that, like the crab, man. The weird lobster,
the lobster man, yeah.
Like he was kind of gangster then, and he was like a normal dude, and he seemed kind of depressed even then, right?
Yes, that's a good point. So he wasn't like his attitude now is essentially like, I'm too strong. Life is boring as I kill everybody in one punch. Like, why am I doing this? But even before he was really strong, he was walking around and just super apathetic. And I doubt they're ever going to explain like how and why he's so strong. But it does kind of imply that there's something about him was different before he went on his journey.
Yeah. And I feel like there's, do you guys remember the moment where him and Genos went to that like underground laboratory where that guy had created the House of M, and it had that one weird, he was like kind of a weird crab kind of dude too.
The beetle guy?
I said House of M. I'm thinking about X-Men, dude. It was the House of Evolution.
House of Evolution. I just trusted you. I just trusted you. You betrayed me, Steve.
I know. I could just say whatever.
I was like,
you betrayed us all.
I remember it was House of something, so I guess that must be right. Yes, the House of Evolution. And he goes and, he's in there, and it's like that guy who's the ultimate whatever, and Genos is fighting him, gets kind of worked, and then like One Punch Man is like, this dude, like, first of all, okay, there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about this show, but like their gangsterness in their like leveling up of characters. But he like is fighting the guy, and they're like, wow, he's so overpowered. And then he starts describing how he becomes strong. Do y'all remember that? When he said his routine was? Do you remember that, Kyle? What he said?
Wait, the guy in the lab or Saitama's routine?
Saitama's.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's like, every day I did 100 push-ups?
100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and then run 10 kilometers.
They're like, that's like a basic routine.
Yeah, and Genos got so basic. Mad. He was like, this isn't funny, master. He's like, that is just a normal workout. Like, and I think that's like the point. Like, Saitama is just special. Like,
I feel bad for him.
For who?
Yeah, you do kind of empathize with him. I think that's why I like the show, because even though he's overpowered, I don't know. It's just because I guess going back to what you were saying, Brad, it does feel like it's a satire of the hero's story, but it's not so on the nose, I guess, as to where you feel like, oh, I know what's gonna happen next, or they're like recycling the same old jokes. Like they found a really interesting way to kind of almost put his strength on the back burner. Like it's just it's more or less just the way that the episode ends. But there's a lot of interesting stuff that happens during the episode that has nothing to do with how strong he is. And in a lot of ways, it shows his weaknesses and how many of those he has, and how his strength can't overcome those.
Interesting. Wow, that was profound. His strength can't overcome his true weaknesses. I mean,
my bad.
No, I think it's one of those things where, like, as I think about it more, like,
so anime.
He is very much a character who just struggles with depression in general, right? And like we were saying before, like he sought power out as his way to remedy his depression. And eventually, once he hit that point, like now he's like, what now? You know, and he just happened to run into Genos, right? As he was fighting, was he fighting the mosquito
queen?
The mosquito queen?
Yeah, it was the mosquito lady.
Yeah, and Genos was like starting his journey and like super forceful, like, hey, I want to be your student and blah, blah, blah. He's like, whatever. You know, like, I think it's one interesting thing about Saitama is that like his absolute goal is not to attract people to him, but he attracted people to him by his nature of being like so
cool.
Yeah, like just nonchalant, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, it's cool because we know that he actually is a guy who cares about people.
Right.
And to some extent he's just bored and he's just trying to alleviate his boredom, but he also is like, all right, let me go take care of business, let me save people, especially in the second season when it feels like he's more come into his own in the second season. Especially because we don't see much of him. He's mostly doing other things, and then we follow, you know, Genos and Gara. Actually, was it Gara? Is that his name?
I don't know how to pronounce it. That's close.
Gauros. Which guy was that? Which one was
the monster?
The human monster.
Yeah, the main villain of season 2. Silver Fangs.
Yeah.
Student. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I want to say Gara, but now all I can think of is that guy from Naruto.
With the sand.
He's the most awesome. Garu.
Yeah. See, there's a U in there.
Garou. So Garo.
Garo. I don't know.
So really fast, it was just like Garo.
Yeah, but it felt like he was the main villain, but also the main protagonist of season 2.
He kind of was.
Yeah,
I mean, he had a lot of screen time, but he was a great character.
So yeah, exactly. He's a character that you introduced. When he's introduced, we just think, okay, this is another villainous guy, and he's going to be totally dumbfounded by, you know, Saitama's goodness, and they're going to fight, and he's going to probably not going to get killed because they're going to humanize him at the end. But they start humanizing him immediately. He's like, you find out that, I guess it's hard to describe, but it really feels like he's empathetic towards monsters because they always lose.
Yeah, his tragic backstory.
Yeah, his bloodthirstiness seems out of proportion to that empathy, but you know that's fine. Like, it's not tragic. I wouldn't say it's a tragic backstory, but yeah, he's like, I want to. You know, I want the monsters to win for once. And he also went out of his way to like protect that little kid who isn't a monster.
I consider it to be tragic because like what happened to him was he said that when he was in school, he was just a regular kid and he would get bullied.
That is tragic. I wasn't thinking about that.
Yeah. And so the other kids, they'd play heroes and villains or heroes and monsters.
Yeah.
But they would always gang up on him. And so he was always the monster. And it was like he couldn't get any help from the counselors and all the adults would reprimand him. So it's like, that's why he got so attached to being a monster. And he was like, well, now the heroes must be the bad ones because I didn't do anything wrong. They're just beating up on me. It's so sad.
It's interesting when they were sharing his backstory and he was watching the first, like they show him watching the show where he starts to like empathize for the monster. And like the monster was saying things like, hey, like he's just protecting his kids, you know, like he's just trying to like, you know, to survive. And I think in many ways, Gauros like character is an empathetic character who is trying, like he's almost trying to not care. I feel like he's come to a conclusion like, hey, I need to become a monster because if I become a monster, then I'll show they can be heroes too. He's got like this weird kind of backwards thought process, but like it's interesting because I feel like what really is the difference between a hero and a monster, right? Like we think about it as like, oh, a hero is somebody who protects humanity, right? But for like the weird. First of all, let's talk about the Sea King. That was just the most ridiculous set of events. Like the Sea King, yes, he was trying to take over the earth, but like everybody was just trying to like expand their kingdom to like protect their people and become, you know, like, oh, we're trapped in the sea, well, we want to come to land. Oh, we're trapped on the ground. Or you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Or the very first villain was the vaccine man. He's like, I am the Earth's answer to the human overpopulation and pollution and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then the two brothers, the scientist and the bodybuilder, like he just wanted to be the strongest, and he turned into this giant monster, and he loved his brother, accidentally killed his brother. Like, dang.
That moment,
was terrible.
I didn't know if I was supposed to laugh because, like, it was so comedic, just the timing.
Yeah.
Because Saitama jumps up there and is yelling at both of them, and the scientist brother is standing on his now giant brother's shoulders, and the scientist brother is like, "Kill him!
Kill the guy on your shoulder."
And he got confused and smashed his brother on the wrong shoulder.
Oh man, he smashed him so hard. Like they had to have a better system. Like,
but then the pause, of realization afterwards,
brother.
And it was just like a mosquito, like just clack, like, no chance of survival. Like he's.
But look at how he reacted. He was like, you know, aside from the "you made me kill my brother," he was like, "Why did this happen to me? I just wanted to be the strongest, and now my brother's gone."
So good.
Yeah, and even when, you know, like skipping around a little bit, like with the Monster Association, like what did they do? They went to the people who wanted to be stronger, right, and who couldn't,
right,
and they like were like, "Hey, just eat this, and you'll become as strong as you want to be." You know, like I feel like that's kind of where the line between monster and, you know, person, man, you know, whatever you want to say, like it's just a decision of how you use your power, you know.
Effectively, yeah.
I mean, yes and no. I do think as empathetic as some of the monsters are, almost all of them do show a very casual disdain for human life, or an outright like aggression towards people. You know, like it's they might have some moral ambiguity, but they're definitely still like the villains.
I think that's where Garo, what he was trying to do is like, because if you want to, I mean, because the heroes pretty much shared that same intensity. Like, I remember, I don't remember the exact scenario, but I think there was a time when a monster was like trying to explain what they were doing, and other than, you know, when he was watching that show, I feel like they did it like in the actual show at least once. I don't remember it though. But
there's one point when the spaceship crashes and they have all these prisoners and they're like, "Oh, I just want to go home. Like, I hate being here. This isn't how things were supposed to go." And they're all prisoners, and then the Amane mask guy shows up and just murders all of the monsters like instantly. Oh. Even though they had been like tied up and were being arrested by the other heroes.
I don't remember that. Wow.
He's the guy who he sits at the top of the A rank, and he doesn't let people, because you have to be better than him to become an S rank.
Oh,
and so he sits there purposefully not going to S rank so that only really, really good people will be S rank. He's like super arrogant. We haven't really seen much of his powers.
He got like that triangular shaped visor on the front of his mask.
I almost feel like
no, he doesn't wear a mask.
He's like the model, the dude who's like
the model, the actor.
And he goes on TV.
Oh, the other guy. Who?
Yeah.
He's like an icon. Yeah, he like sings, he acts.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
But I feel like that guy in general, like that, like, oh, I'm the gatekeeper. It almost feels like he's more like like when somebody plays an Apex and they're not gonna be the best, so their goal is to like smurf. So that because he purposefully doesn't like take that exam or pass that exam or whatever to get to S class, like he's purposefully like just I think wasn't that other girl doing that? Like she's like, oh, I'm just gonna amass all of the C class or whatever.
Oh
yes,
yeah, the
B. No, she's not smurfing. She really is. She really just sucks. No. You're right. She probably could do better, but she knows she won't be the best in the next class. She's smurfing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's smurfing. He really just feels strongly about the way that the heroes are perceived, and so he doesn't want schmucks in the S class.
I don't know, man. I
But
feel like he's a villain.
At least that's
Like,
what he says. We haven't seen
Yeah.
much of his motivation, so who knows? But that's what he says, and I believe him.
What were you gonna say, Kyle?
I was saying, like, if he truly believes, like, in what the S class, like, stands for, I think it kind of counteracts his point. Like, if he's not going to grow in S class, you know, like, maybe the lowest person who would be the lowest of S class, you know, shouldn't be in S class. And so they would get defeated and then get knocked out of S class. Like, he's still kind of gatekeeping and also, but it's like preventing, it's a super weird dynamic, I guess, to just try to hold that spot, to be the one people have to go through. Like, if you could be the best, I guess, in S class, then I think you would have a voice as far as who else gets in S class, you know. So I don't.
So is there
his motivation doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
No. I don't think you do get a voice. I think what he's doing is the only way for him to exert control over who gets into S class.
is to block people from passing his position. Yeah. So the question is there there's a maximum amount of people who can be in S class?
No, I think you just have to somehow surpass whoever is the top of A class.
Okay, so you could have like 100 people in S class as long as they surpass the A
theory.
class.
And he probably believes that the exam or whatever to get into S class isn't like a high enough tier for him for his sensibilities. So he's imposing a higher tier by being there. Presumably, it's harder to be better than him, because if he were to move to S class, then probably a bunch of other people could also do it once he was no longer in the way.
So Genos is S class. Did he beat?
Yeah. He was ranked high. I don't know. He didn't fight him, but he...
I think Genos became S class because he like did some crazy like stuff that kind of because the classing.
He definitely surpassed him in some, or maybe he has to give his approval because he sized Geno up. He met him like in a cafe or something.
Yeah.
Afterwards, I think is when Geno became S class. Genos.
Demon Cyborg, which is a gangster
Demon
name.
Cyborg.
Such a gangster name.
Bald cape.
Caped Baldy.
We're not talking about any other shows, but the dude, Sweet, what's his name? Mask, whatever his name is. He kind of reminds me, even though he's not a villain per se, in my mind, I feel like he's a villain because of how he uses his power and like the stuff that he does. Like, though he's quote unquote protecting humanity, he's doing it the way that he wants to, in kind of a manipulative, kind of like brutal way. And there's a character in another show who kind of cares a lot about what it means to be a hero. So he sets, he basically like, he's a villain because the heroes, in his opinion.
Talking about Hero Academia?
Yeah, I'm trying to be somewhat like vague so I don't,
spoil that one.
Yeah, but there you go.
I just spoiled it. Sorry. I don't. Is that a spoiler? I feel like that's.
Yes, that character is. If you haven't watched the show, the character is kind of a, like deeper in the season, at least. I mean, I'm just trying to be respectful because like the anime community, you know what I'm saying. But long story short, he just reminds me of another character, even though he's not a villain. Like, his motivations are kind of villainous. Like, hey. Like, the reason the one character in My Hero does what he does is because he believes that heroes should have a higher standard, And it's kind of like, because I almost feel like the hero, what are they called? Are they just called the Hero Collective? I don't know what they're like. There's
association.
The Hero
that's
Association.
In One Punch Man.
Yeah, in One Punch Man. That's what I'm sorry. I'm switching back to One Punch Man. Like, they seem kind of evil in their own way. Like, they seem like they're run by all these really rich people who have their own motivations and use the heroes to their own benefit,
Yeah,
I wouldn't say they're evil. I would say there's a little bit of corruption in there, sure, but
it seems like it's just your run of the mill government, tyrannical, taking over anything, I guess, that has any sort of like military power.
You think so? That's pretty extreme. I really feel like they're a very, very benign organization for the most part.
But
I don't know.
I mean, they're benign in the sense that they're doing good now, but it's clear that they are beholden to their stakeholders.
Yeah,
because remember,
even then, we haven't seen the stakeholders do anything crazy.
I mean, remember when the dude had that super top class hero, like hanging out with him and his son? Like,
yeah.
Like, hey, like this
the guy with the bat.
Yeah. What was that guy?
Metal bat?
Is
there a question? I don't understand
what I'm saying is, what I was trying to make the point is that like these people who they're beholden to are manipulating how the heroes act. That particular hero could have been doing something else. Like he was like, hey, I could actually be doing some hero work, but instead I'm on duty watching these people. And the hero association is like, hey, he pays a lot of money into our organization, so you got to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, they're not like fully like, hey, philanthropic, do the best for people. It's like there's people who are paying into the coffers of the Hero Association so that it benefits them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I get that. And like I said, there's some mild corruption, but that's the worst thing we've seen. We haven't seen them trying to like take over the military or like otherwise go out of the way to run people's lives. They're just doing their thing for the most part.
So speaking of that, like, so one thing that was interesting to me about all the other monster races, like if you think about the monsters, remember, Saitama has that dream about the mole men, right? And he's like finally satisfied, right? Like, he's fighting these people, and then the mole men come out, and they're just like the most like feeble, embarrassing monsters, right? But like each of the races have the same motivation of like, hey, like we are forced here almost. It sounds like we've been forced to live underground and it's time, like, oh, we're forced to live underwater. Oh, we are forced to live in the skies. Or, like, I'm like,
I mean, there's a lot of that. Sure. Go on.
Yeah. But I'm wondering if like, that's what it is. Like humans fundamentally like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm bringing up this game, but knack. Like,
gosh,
not
like,
knack.
No, think about it. Like,
I know what you're going to say. Go on,
like,
please.
Like in Knack, the goblins or whatever they're called are the villains.
They're oppressed people.
But they're actually the people who were oppressed initially by the humans. And they're just responding in kind. Like, I feel like there's a little bit of that.
Well, in Knack, that was the case. But remember, we learned in Knack too that they actually used to be like legit, like warlike. And they lost the war. And it's only since then that they've become an oppressed people.
Since the war.
Since that old war with all the magic golems and stuff.
Yeah.
You slept through that, didn't you?
No, I mean, I remember, but I guess in my mind, it just is like, at the end of the day, like, there's no true heroes. Like, everybody's just trying to protect their own people,
Yeah, agreed, for sure.
So.
Yeah, the monsters, they just want to be treated like equals.
Yeah.
Some of them do.
Some of them. I mean, I don't know. I guess
some of them.
I guess if you just had disdain toward the oppressors, you would just see them as like people to be conquered and not as human, right? Like you wouldn't see any humanity in them.
I guess maybe the closest example I can think of is like, how Thanos, in theory, his motivation is good. Like he's trying to save the universe from like, running out of
resources.
Everything. Yeah. Resources, time, space, matter. But then he goes to an extreme length to meet that goal. Mm-hmm. I feel like every monster that you just described is like that. Like they have something they're trying to do. Some of it's good, some of it is less good, but they have this extreme length they're willing to go to do it. Mm-hmm. And we don't see any of the conflict or any of the like progression to that point. We just see them show up and get wrecked.
The violent part of it.
Yeah. I mean, like the House of Evolution, they were trying to like forcefully evolve everybody, I think, right?
Yeah.
The guy from space, he just
was looking for.
He was just trying to fight everybody.
He's basically like Saitama, but like just
Gauros.
yeah, he's just like
Gauros, yes.
he's like, I just want to fight the strongest person. There's somebody in this universe who will give me a challenge.
He was Goku.
But he went about it totally different from what Saitama does, right? Because this guy essentially became a warlord and was like conquering entire galaxies or whatever. And that's how he went about, not being bored.
Yeah, looking for that
It's not
fight.
great.
Looking for his was, I would say, of all the monsters, like they were the most like malicious. Like their goal was just, they were like pirates or something, right?
Yeah.
Something.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Like
they were there to. He was there to conquer, and so there was like peace was never an option, and so like Saitama had to show up.
I mean, I still don't think the Monster Association. The people might have joined because they wanted to be stronger or whatever, but the group itself seems pretty hell bent on violence and treachery and the destruction of humanity. And maybe they have a secret good intention behind that or a motivation behind that, but we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I think it's different.
Well, they don't seem to be violent or always violent against other monsters, at least. So if
why would they be? They have a common goal.
If they want everyone to be monsters, then maybe.
So is a monster just anybody who's not human? Because because the Sea King or whatever, he was just like, they're just trying to take over the planet more or less, right? Like from what I could surmise, and he just was invading, but he wasn't associated to the Monster Association, right? Like he was just
you're right,
doing his own thing. So I guess like anybody who's not human is a monster, but not necessarily all the monsters are associated to some whatever this Monster Association is. That's just interesting because
they're not all affiliated,
right?
And they're different races, kind of.
It seems like there's a pretty diverse biology there.
Yeah, I guess for lack of a better way of saying it, like the monsters are, I guess, more like physically mutated heroes, because they have a lot of the same attributes and powers. It seems they just look different.
They all have purple blood.
Oh yeah, that too.
Was that the same? Was the sea people and the mole people? Did they have purple blood, or were they just blood?
Your boy Sea King definitely had purple blood. I don't remember the mole people.
Maybe that was because he was a fish.
I know the monsters from the House of Evolution had purple blood. Wait, maybe
I don't remember.
See, now
the Mosquito Queen had red blood, but I know she was drinking other people's blood.
Full of blood,
that's why.
yeah.
She was full of blood. That's interesting.
Aren't we all?
So I'm gonna turn just the topic real quick because I'm interested to hear, like, outside of Saitama, and we haven't talked too much about Saitama, like other than like the general, but like who was your like favorite hero outside of Saitama? Did y'all have one? Like,
Ooh.
So I guess I can get started. I mean, for me, of course, my boy, Mooman Rider. Like,
how did I know?
Like, Mooman Rider was he deserves power.
He's the actual hero of the story.
Like, yeah,
he should have died.
He multiple occasions. Like, he's truly like the most heroic. Like, he's basically Captain America.
But he's also very naive.
Very. Yeah.
He's heroic to a fault.
Yeah, and I feel like that's Captain America before he gets the super soldier serum, right? Like,
I guess, sure.
Yeah, like think about the first moment in Captain America, like when they throw the grenade, right?
He jumped
on it. Like, he was literally willing to sacrifice his life.
This man would say, "Mooman jump." Justice. No, he would say justice jump. That's what it would be.
Like,
justice jump.
And I feel like Mooman, like on his little bicycle, like just a normal human, like the most normal human, but like he's the top of C class, I believe. And
yeah, he was rank 1 in C class.
It's like there's something about his character that makes him great, but he has no power. And
wait, he's the top of C class. The guys that jumped Gauros, like the Stinger and all those other dudes, were they C class? I know they were low.
I think
not all of them. It was a combination, because most of them are from my favorite. I have a favorite group,
Okay.
It isn't a favorite
If
hero.
you say the
but
tank top fools, I'm gonna be.
Is it my turn?
He's gonna say the tank top
Wait.
fools. Oh my god.
You're misunderstanding me. I'm not talking about when the tank top fools jumped him. I'm talking about when like the Gatling gun, Death Gatling, and the Stinger, and the big Mr. Smiley or
No,
whatever.
they were all A ranks.
Yeah, they were.
They were A.
Yeah,
Okay.
because Stinger's definitely A rank for sure.
Okay, I was about to say, like, I thought some of them were C rank, and I'm like, there's no way this dude's a rank below Moomin Rider.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, because Gatlin, he kind of gives a little bit of story before they
I knew
fight
he
him.
was A rank, yeah.
Yeah, but he was saying, he pulled those guys together because they're always overshadowed by S rank.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, that Smiley dude actually looks somewhat surprisingly dangerous. I was impressed.
Wait, the Smiley?
Yeah, they all kind
The
of
Smiley dude? Which one was that one?
He was in a red suit, like tights, and he had a giant. He had like a staff with a giant, like wrecking ball smiley face attached to it, and he could throw it out and like return it to himself.
Oh, wow.
And that thing was like it was like Cloud with his Buster Sword. It was humongous, and he's literally jumping around and just handling it like it's nothing, but it's huge and it looks super heavy. And I'm like, whoa, this man is a problem.
Oh yeah, I gotta look him up. I vaguely remember that. I can't believe but yeah, Kyle, sorry. You were saying
Yeah, you were saying.
So I mean, yes. Moomin Rider should have died. But he's one of my favorites. I mean, I have other favorites, but I gotta hear what you're about to say, Kyle, because you
So it was partially a joke. But yeah, I like the tank top guys. I think that having a whole like sub archetype within the heroes where it's just dudes who wear tank tops and have like different, like there's vegetarian tank top, there's tank top, what's his name? Expert Master?
I think there's different levels of tank top.
Yeah, like tiger tank top or something.
Yeah.
The guy with the stripes. Like it's just wild. I thought it was a fun concept. But no, my actual favorite hero would have to be Golden Ball.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the dude who shoots out the little balls.
Yeah, he's got the slingshot, and like he shoots it is pretty much like bullets, but he's got the laser pointer on the slingshot. Like he does some crazy stuff for that thing, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah. I think my favorite part of the show, at least my favorite part of season 2, was monsters in the hospital. Moomin Rider jumps on one of them. It's like, justice, tackles. Like, this man is in the hospital, already got beat up, is about to be killed, and then Tank Top Master comes through and tackles it out the door or out the wall or something. And it's like, you shouldn't try tackling without a tank top. Like, what universe is this? Tank top makes him so powerful.
They got their own thing going.
Yeah, and they have a whole squad of them. Like, there's so many tank tops.
There's so many tank top boys.
But Tank Top Master is like just gangster. Like, he's truly gangster. Like, and I guess he created acolytes. Like, hey, like the tank top gives you power.
And they're all it's a brotherhood.
So did you say who one of your favorites were, Steve?
I haven't yet, and
I've
been thinking furiously.
The first one that comes to mind. That's the one.
It might.
You know who it is.
I'm just thinking of all the little moments. So like Genos, I like. He's a cool main character. I was surprised by how much I liked King.
Yes.
After it's revealed what a coward and a liar he is.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
King was really good.
King was surprisingly good.
Yeah. Well.
Blackluster, whatever his name was, the shiny black guy who was like, "Look at my pecs."
Oh, you mean Super Alloy Dark Shine? The most.
Wait. That's what his name is?
Dark Shine.
It's Dark Shine.
It's Dark Shine. He had, I know what you're talking about, the luster. I think that was his move or something.
Oh, okay.
But his name is Super Alloy Dark Shine.
That's pretty hilarious.
A big, swole, shiny black man. Like, I don't even know how
He's S rank.
He's S rank. I don't even know how to feel about that. I was just like, you know what, man? Do y'all thing, Japanese people. I'm just going to let this one slide. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think I have to go with the baseball bat guy. He was hilarious in the end of season 1 when he was fighting, fighting the aliens, and he's swinging that bat like, And then they fleshed him out a lot more in season 2, and I was like, A, he's actually more impressive than I expected. I thought it would just be like a throwaway gag, like, oh, what to do with a baseball bat. And B, he was like fun to watch. So I might, other than Genos, I might have to give it to him.
I think
we just know Genos so much better.
I think I want to echo your King. It's one of my favorite characters, because at first I was like, oh, I just was dying. It's like, King, oh no, he's always near where One Punch Man is doing something ridiculous, and he's just walking down the street. But he's just gangsterness of like, all right, this is what I gotta do. Like, I gotta act like I'm gangster, or otherwise I'm gonna be murdered.
He didn't flinch. Like, he still played the part.
I love how tropey this is. That, like, this man's heartbeat as he's panicking is audible. Like, everyone can hear it. And that other people were like, they made up lore about it. And they call it the King Engine.
I love it.
And, like, everyone knows about the King Engine. And it's a sign of, like, like, oh, crap's about to hit the fan. Like, it's about to be serious. And it's literally this man just crapping his pants. Like,
about
I'm
to
so
have
scared.
a heart attack.
Yeah, no, I was the same thing. Like, the fact that they were like, oh man, he's so gangster. Like, and this man is just literally like, I'm going to die. Like, I am going to die. I need to find a way to exit. But he's so good at it. He's like, he gets people to like stay at a standstill because they're like, what's he about to do? Like, I can't act first. I gotta, and he's just like, oh, come on, please, somebody come. Like,
this man's literally, he's just bluffing nonstop.
highest level bluff. Yeah, I like him. And then especially with the character he becomes when he starts, well, first of all, he's playing those weird games, but like how him and One Punch Man become really good friends, and like,
yeah.
And like, he just
which is good for him.
Yeah, which is perfect for him. But they kind of like get each other, right? They're both just like people who they're kind of depressed in their own ways, and they just kind of like play video games and hang out while stuff is going down, and like,
and
also
King still roasts Saitama, even though like he has no powers, but like he just completely just destroys him in all the games and calls him out.
He's the one person who's consistently made Saitama angry.
Yeah. Like he Saitama has never lost at anything almost. So it's like he finally found a person who can best him at something. And it's like he respects King for that. And it's like, yo, like, hey, you gonna come through? Like, hey, you stole my game. Like Saitama is literally the strongest human on the planet, and this man is like,
yeah.
So I think my favorite hero, like, it is so random because they didn't show him that much, but they showed him enough where I was like, what in the world is Watchdog Man?
Yeah.
The random dog dude who doesn't say anything but just works you. He just works you. like when Garu ran up on him, he's like, oh, I'll take him. And he's like, yo, this dude is actually really a problem.
His powers like make no sense. Like, what is the?
He's just really strong and agile. I don't think he has any actual powers.
And he just wears a dog outfit.
It's just a kind of dog outfit.
Just to kind of, it must be a flex.
Yeah.
This just because, like, what you gonna do about it? But he's so fast.
What the dog doing?
Oh man. Yo, like Watchdog Man is secretly like Saitama though. Like, he just like has a super blank face. He's just like, he just does the job. Like, he just gets to it. Like yo, I definitely want more of Watchdog Man. So yeah, go ahead.
You know who I really loved in season 2? I forget his name. It was the guy who won the martial art tournament.
Oh yeah, what was his name?
Oh yeah,
this dude looked like a villain straight out of like Yu Yu Hakusho. Like, he was such a classic character, and he turned him totally inside out. Not like the author turned him inside out. It was such an interesting journey for this man. In that one day, he went from the pretty boy who just wrecks everyone to like begging for his life,
humility,
humble and thankful and grateful. It was so cool.
What was that guy's name? I can't remember, but
It started with, it had an S in it.
I found it. Soryu. Yeah.
Soryu.
I can't say that word because of my
Yeah,
list.
I can't pronounce half of these.
But yeah,
You kept from saying it.
yeah, he was just like so gangster. But it's like funny that like there's those people who just want to be powerful, who are like fighters, who don't want to be heroes. They just want to be powerful, but like they still aren't that great. Like they can only really battle the A rank, or maybe B. What was that, like one dude? That one dude who
the snake bite guy. I think he was A rank.
Yeah, like they weren't that good. Like, but they were still.
So that guy was like, he was like the Hercule of his universe.
Who, the snake bite guy?
No, what is his name? Starts with an S.
Oh, Soryu.
Soryu, yeah, because he was like the strongest human, I guess, through their tournaments.
Well, he wasn't that trash. Like, well, I guess you're right.
He was above and beyond the other contestants, other than Saitama.
But that's fair. Hercule is the strongest normal person, right? Yeah. Like, he can't. The Z Fighters, a horrible name, but he he can't mess with them. But like, as far as like normal, like any other person,
right?
He's the top, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's fair. Like, but the thing is, like, yeah, Snakebite. I feel like he wasn't A rank. I feel like he was like B rank or something. Because
I don't remember.
Because when Saitama was in C class, that guy was trying to stunt on him.
Yeah.
And Saitama like ruined his life instantly. Was
that the guy he fought like at dawn on the beach or something?
Yeah, like the guy tried to catch him on the levee, like after he became a hero. He's like, "Hi, you're not ready for this." And Saitama just like carrying his normal groceries.
Yeah.
I forgot his name.
Yeah.
How are you gonna jump a man while he's carrying his groceries?
I feel like Saitama was always coming from the convenience store though. Like
always.
He would be trying to get that sale, man.
Oh, true. He was mad broke. That's interesting because Saitama's like kind of broke. But he didn't have a job, right? Like,
I don't know.
Does he get paid by the association now? I forget.
I think because he had to do something. There was a time where he was like, he stayed inactive for too long. And so he was trying to find like side jobs because I think he was going to be taken off of the payroll or something like that. Or lose
I thought he was trying to work his way up to the payroll because he started so low.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember.
Oh no, he was trying. What he was trying to do was move to B class because if you're a C class, you have to always be patrolling. But if you get to A class, you don't have to patrol.
He's too lazy. There's no quota for B class. That's what it is.
Yeah. So he was like, "Oh man, I got to get out of and he made it to A class because that's when Snake Dude bothered him. He's like, you're in A class now. Like, you don't know what you're messing with. You shouldn't even be here. Not realizing no, when he made it to B class, Snake was in A class, so he started messing with him. Man.
You know what's weird? They were building up this kind of weird arc where or this kind of plot arc that's happening, a subplot, where people are turning against Saitama because he's involved in all these battles and he wins, but no one understands how strong he is.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, the people hate him. They think he's a cheater. And the Hero Association is confused. And some of the other heroes think he's a cheater as well. And that was happening near the end of season 1, but then it just never comes up in season 2.
So what?
Yeah, it was kind of how they ended off season 1. Because it was, at least that's how I understand it, was that Saitama kind of purposefully made it seem like all the other heroes had weakened the Sea King.
Yeah.
And so when he showed up, he just like finished him off, but he's not really as strong as people think he is. And so he like almost called himself a fake.
Yeah.
So that to keep the other heroes' reputations intact.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but that only happened because the only reason why he had to do that was because of that weird little sniveling kid. at the rescue center. Remember?
Yeah.
So like Sea King comes in, there's whooping everybody up. What's up, Genos? He shows up and he does it, and everybody's like, "Wow, he's so strong." And then that sniveling kid's like, "Well, actually, like, it's because the heroes are so weak, you know." And so Saitama had to save face for them because of that kid. Like, I think everybody would have just took it as like, "Oh, he's really strong, and the heroes are strong." But that little kid, that little internet troll, like forced him to do that.
I think it was a grown man actually, but probably internet troll. Yeah.
Even worse.
I mean, yeah, all that stuff happened. I'm just pointing out that like we haven't seen anything about that since. You know, he was even, I think one of the tank top guys even like challenged him publicly, right? And
after that.
Yeah, and he had to act like a heel to keep it going.
But wasn't it because Gino showed up or something? Or something happened in that moment? Like, because he was trying to get the whole town to work against him. And then maybe, like, Gino showed up and was, like, started talking about... I remember that moment, but I can't remember.
I don't remember how that moment ended.
Yeah.
It didn't feel... From what I remember, it doesn't feel like that has been resolved.
Yeah. I think, to me... I actually thought season 1 was more interesting to me than season 2. I would actually reverse what Kyle said about the 8-7 or 9-7, because I feel like season 2 they followed other characters too much, and they had these long it almost became a normal anime for a while. If you think about it, like there was actual normal fights happening with normal characters. You don't know who's gonna win. Like they kind of went back to that, and like Saitama was just playing video games with King somewhere, and it was like multiple episodes of just like Garu fighting those guys in the A class or whatever, or these guys at the not at the tournament. Like it just was like a lot of just Genos doing a thing, and then of course Saitama shows up and everything changes, but. I don't know. I felt like that was not very interesting to me, because to me, I was like, the only characters that I really liked outside of Saitama were like Genos. I liked Fang. Of course, I like King.
Fang.
But
Silver Fang?
Yeah.
Bang.
Bang.
Oh, you said Bang.
No, I said Fang, but his
name
is Bang, but Silver Fang. So like him, of course, Moon Man Rider. I'm gonna get a Moon Man Rider shirt because he deserves respect. And there's like a few other characters, but like I didn't really care about some of the, and of course Watchdog Man, but like it just felt like too much like a normal anime for a while until after the tournament ended and it started. Like I don't know, that's just my opinion.
You're right.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad thing, but I don't think it's a bad thing because I like those tropes, and so I'm happy for the show to just be like that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're in it for the first season, like subversiveness, you're right. I didn't think about that, but it's definitely reduced. In this, it's still there, but it's reduced. I mean, the jokes are still there. I like the fact that they essentially had a tournament arc, but A, it didn't matter. B. It was a subplot to the main plot, which was like the other characters.
Mm-hmm.
And C, it actually was detrimental because instead of being out there fighting monsters, Saitama was chilling, worried about, getting caught.
Yeah, because
like the main conflict was, oh no, my wig fell off.
The wig.
Meanwhile, people outside getting murdered.
Because his goal was to make money, right? Like he was like, right?
His goal was to experience martial arts, and
he wanted to learn about it.
He did want the money.
It was to get the money because Silver Fang's student couldn't go or something because he was hurt.
It was both.
I feel like it was just.
Changro?
You're right. I think Saitama was like, Chakaro or whatever. What's his stupid name? Chankaro.
Who cares?
He was forgetting.
Charanko. I think it was Charanko. But because he did say, "Oh, maybe there's some strong people there," forgetting like he's One Punch Man. And
no, not just strength, specifically martial arts, because they heard that Garo was using martial arts, and he's like, "Well, I've never really dealt with that. Where do I learn?" And Charanko was like, "Oh, well, there's a tournament."
So
Because that's even what he told Soryu. He's like, yeah, I came here to learn martial arts.
so One Punch Man
while he was laying on the ground.
like
I came here to learn martial arts and have fun, and this dude is broken
And get money. Yeah.
it's funny because like One Punch Man is so OP that he doesn't realize like he doesn't need martial arts. Like he
I think
Right.
that's what he learned. Yeah.
yeah, he thinks that it's something greater because he's just like he doesn't even like understand like like there must be something great about this because there's a tournament of people. But he should have known because Chiranko was going to be in it, and Chiranko is trash. So I'm like,
Yeah.
what do you think is about to happen? You know, like
The
Didn't he
takeaway for
call
him during the battle with Soryu was like, oh, I get it. Martial arts is a way to look really cool and like
Yeah.
move really cool. And it just boiled this man up, and then he ate him.
what were,
called it dancing or something.
yeah, what were you about to say, Kyle? You were about to say something?
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, I was trying to remember what Steve just said. Like he was kind of defacing it, and that's what was making the guy even madder because he kept belittling what martial arts was and trying to really narrow it down to like one specific thing
Yeah.
while
He just didn't
fighting the
get
guy.
And he's over here just like really disrespecting me like this.
100%.
So I do want to take a moment to talk about one of the most problematic characters in the whole show. Because this is going to be on YouTube and stuff like that, we're going to have to be careful with the words we use to talk about him. But let's talk about the guy by the name of Puri-Puri Prisoner.
Oh.
The S-class prisoner who has a particular crime.
Fighting style.
Fighting style, yes.
Yeah.
And his
Do we even need to address him? I feel like if you know, you know.
yeah,
We're just walking on thin ice here.
yeah, I just feel like we have to address it and to say like, really
He
though?
exists.
Like,
Yeah.
really? Like, I get that it's kind of unnecessary, but it's like the show was already unnecessary. We didn't need Puri-Puri Prisoner. Like, and the effect he has on other heroes, like, who are concerned about his presence, like,
Yeah.
and his strength. Like,
Right.
It's literally a man who's in jail for crimes he's committed and continues to harass people and
He's a problem.
I mean, forget the casual nudity, just everything.
Casual.
his intention is
Public.
the problem. His intention is truly
Yeah.
the problem.
Yeah, like is he truly considered, I guess, a hero?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he just not far along enough to be a monster? Because he's not like a good. I mean, he's fighting the monsters. I get that, but he's not necessarily a good guy.
Well, see,
So I think it's supposed to be played for laughs because it's only implied, as far as I remember, it's only implied that he's like done horrible things to people because of it's implied through the way he acts and the fact that he's in prison.
yeah.
Mhm.
However, all we've actually seen him do is fight monsters and protect people. So like,
Well,
okay, I'm
I don't
willing
see it.
willing to call him a good guy.
that doesn't discredit, I guess, though what he's done though. Like he's
No, but we don't know what he's
like, I
done.
don't, but
Do
I
we?
don't see why we'd have to see it. I guess for him to still be considered. Like, is that what would?
Well, see,
convince you,
that's
I
the
guess?
thing. That's why I think the whole hero monster thing is problematic in its own way, right? Just being deep about this. It's just that, like, at the end of the day, fundamentally, a hero is just a person who protects humanity, right? It doesn't necessarily like what's the dude's name? Metal Knight, Metal.
There's like Metal Knight, there's Drive
Oh, the
Knight.
Iron Man
There's a couple.
guy?
Yeah, the weird.
There's a couple knights.
Like the
He's definitely sketchy.
like the Iron Man dude is clearly just out there trying to test out weapons. Like,
Yeah.
he does not care about anything, but he's protects humanity as a byproduct,
as a side effect.
as a side effect. So I feel like that's the problem. Like, you are a hero if you just aren't a monster, you know, and you're not like. I feel like the justification for Puri-Puri Prisoner is that yes, he has a criminal past, whatever he was doing, but his good outweighs the bad, right? Like, you deploy him when needed.
When you say the defense for him, do you mean the in-universe defense of why he isn't considered dangerous by most people? Or do you mean the real world defense, like why is he in the show acting this way? Why do people treat him like he's not a problem?
Oh, no. I do mean in show, not like why is he in the show? Like I just accept that he's in it. But it's like in the universe, the other heroes, particularly certain heroes, are like, hey, like we know he's a problem, and he verbally and aggressively lets them kind of know his intentions, you know, and people are concerned about it. Like they are like, okay, cool, we need to move, you know. And I think from the Hero Association end, he's still a good person because in his mind, he is fighting to protect those people that he would essentially victimize. Like it's kind of his bent.
They have a common enemy, both he and the other heroes.
Yes,
I think, yeah.
But his motivation is not good.
I mean, when you look at all the other heroes, like that you mentioned, who are also kind of sketchy, it seems just like, yeah, the Hero Association will essentially take anybody who can fight monsters. Kind of like the Hunter Association in Hunter x Hunter is like, as long as you pass the exam,
we don't care what you do.
We really don't care what you do. They really, really don't care.
Really
At least
don't.
the Hero Association is trying to be heroic. And maybe they're kind of utilitarian about it, but the Hunter Association is like,
hey,
we're just strong. We're not good or bad.
And we want you to take bounties kind of, sort of, from time to time. He's like,
I still got to watch that show.
Yeah, it's a good show. It's a good show. It's definitely, it'll take you places.
It'll take you there.
So one thing is like about Saitama is just like, to me, his presence in the show, of course, is his show. I once again, I wish there was more of him, but like the moment that I think I literally almost passed out laughing, I don't remember who he was fighting, but it was kind of near his house when him and Genos were living together. And nobody's living in that town anymore, right? Because like everybody's like, oh, that's Monster City, right? It's
pretty much deserted.
Yeah, and
King lives there
because King is like, what is wrong with King? But I can't remember who the villain was, but or was it Garu? No, it was the weird ninja dude.
Oh, Sonic.
Oh, yeah, Sonic.
Speed of sound
Sonic.
Who's like a villain by choice. Like, he's not a monster, but he's a villain. And he tries to find Saitama because Saitama dirt worked him in the woods or whatever it was. And so he's like, no, he's not that strong. And then, like, so Genos, I think, was fighting him or something.
Yeah.
And then, like, Saitama, like, walks up. And then, like, Speedster, whatever his name is doing his little move, his After Effect move. And then, Saitama goes, serious, sideways jump.
Sidesteps.
It kills the guy instantly. He's like, is he dead? Like, oh my gosh, I killed him. I just was playing around.
And that's the best part. He wasn't even attacking him. He just did the sidesteps and the wind knocked this man out.
Yo, me and Shailene were dying for like a solid 5 minutes. Serious sideways jumps. Oh my goodness.
Like he's better than him at his own game.
And he's like, what in the world? When he started it, and he's like
10 after images. What?
Oh man, like
and then all the names of Saitama's attacks are just so good.
Yeah.
Consecutive normal punches.
Serious. Like when he was fighting the alien, I can't remember the move he used, but it was like
he used Serious Punch or something.
Serious Punch.
But the crazy thing is, like, when other people are fighting Saitama, they are the most gangster epic, like, animations and transformations, like in any.
It's part of the gag.
Yo, it's crazy. Like in any other show, that would be the rawest moment ever. Like people powering up in like the ways that they do the animation and like turning into different creatures and like doing these crazy laser beams, and then like Saitama just standing
opens them.
Like
I read a book by Neil Gaiman, and there's a woman in the book who has the power to open things.
Okay.
And it's very vague. Like, she can open doors and unlock things, obviously. But she also, at one point, uses her power to open a person.
Oh.
And that's how I picture.
Wow.
Is the way when Saitama punches and there's just like a gaping hole.
Yeah.
Like, and the person just like falls apart. Like, yeah, that's what happened to that guy that one time.
One thing that kind of bothered me about Saitama's powers is that in that way, they seemed kind of inconsistent. Because like sometimes the wind would completely rip somebody's torso off. And other times it would blow them away. And then there were times where he'd like smack somebody and they'd knock out. Or he'd smack somebody seemingly with the same amount of force and they'd explode on the spot. And so it's like, I don't really understand, I guess, how his power works. Because sometimes it seems like he has control over it. Other times it seems like, you know, no matter what he does, he's got like a Midas touch as far as destruction.
So
Didn't he punch Boros at least once or twice without killing him?
or Garu?
No, Boros.
Which one is Boros?
The space guy, the pirate.
Alien from... Yeah, both of them. And he's even hit... I think he hit Genos.
He didn't
one
hit.
time?
He didn't hit Garo. Oh wait, yeah, he kicked him the one time.
Well, here's the thing. I think at one point, One Punch Man points out that he always pulls his punches on like humans, like he never will hit a human seriously, like ever.
Because during the fight, he was punching people and they would just fly off in the sky and disappear.
Yeah,
they didn't die.
but like with
Okay, so he does pull his...
yeah, because like when Garo would run up on him, like Garo would see him. And then Gar would all of a sudden just be like, wake up 7 days later, like, what just happened?
Right.
Like, I think, like, what Saitama knew that he was, like, a villain, but he knew he was human. So he would never hit him for real. Similar to his serious sideways jumps. Like, he had never done that before, so he didn't know what would happen. But his goal wasn't to kill, you know, Sonic, right? Mm-hmm. But, like, when he fights the monsters, he just hits them... He doesn't hit them as hard as he can, right? Like he has.
I assume he doesn't. Yeah.
He does various.
He's trying to hold back. I don't think he knows how much to hold back with monsters.
Yeah. So I think he like varies it, and then he's like, okay, I guess I'll really punch you. Like he's kind of always used to holding back, so he's like, oh, okay, I can punch you for real, and then he's disappointed. Like,
because with Boros, he punched him. He hit him a few times, I think,
with serious punches.
But then it was the one punch at the end. He was like, all right, this is my serious punch. And that was the one that, like, you know, blew out the whole sky.
Like, just absolutely obliterated everything. Yeah. Like, to me, that's the most interesting part. Like, what is Saitama's actual ceiling? Like, what is his... Because does he even know his strongest ability? Like...
I don't know.
It almost seems like...
If he punches the planet, will he destroy the planet?
I wonder.
Right. And could he survive in outer space?
I think he has to hold his breath.
Did he go to outer space?
Yeah, Boros flung him up and hit the moon, remember?
Oh, yeah.
He jumped off the moon, he came back to Earth. He left a crater.
He's like, and he just slowly just boosh, and he just... Yeah, and then like okay, this is something this is not necessarily One Punch Man specific, but I've always wondered like how does a person's body tolerance, like how does that level up, right? So One Punch Man punches what's his name? The dude, the alien pirate dude?
Boros.
Boros, like with a serious punch. Boros doesn't explode, but if he does that with anybody else to explode, like when you become more powerful, does like your muscles and your skin just get more knit together or something? Like,
yeah, that's kind of how it works with anime and superheroes and stuff.
Yeah, it levels out. Like you can dish out what you're able to withstand to a degree.
Usually. If you look at like any like Wikipedia for a comic book character and you go under powers and abilities, I used to do this a lot, by the way. I don't know if anyone else does this, but I would just look at powers and abilities, and like 9 times out of 10, any hero or villain or whatever is going to have increased durability or like superhuman durability as one of their powers,
which is super vague and like a catch-all.
Well, it's super vague because it's never explained. You only put it on there because you see them get crushed under a building and walk away after.
Right. Like their bones should be breaking.
Yeah.
Or they get shot at or something like that. Like, and it's sometimes interesting because a character will get like punched a bunch, but they can get shot and it actually like inflicts an actual wound.
Bullets are special.
They like can break their skin binded power. You just said something. Oh, superheroes. So they're at in Atlanta at Six Flags Over Georgia. They have the Superman ride, and when you're waiting for the ride, it shows like all these different Superman characters, and so at some point it shows Doomsday, right? And it's like his powers, like he's invulnerable. He's invulnerable. He's super strong. Like he's strong. Blah blah blah. Then you go to Superman's one after that. It says he's super invulnerable. And I was like, oh,
that's so petty.
I was like, come on,
not invulnerable enough to not get killed.
Exactly, but he's super invulnerable.
Super invulnerable.
Like he's more invulnerable. I mean,
Superman is broken.
I don't know. I mean,
no, you can't break him. He's invulnerable.
So where do you guys think like the author of One Punch Man is going? Right? Like, what's his
for season 3?
Yeah, what's his end game? Because the manga is always going with that, right? Like,
sure.
Imagine the show ends at the end of season 3. Like, what do you imagine? Like the conclusion of this show would be, considering the direction. Like, what is his goal?
I think Genos will be highly regarded.
He's still looking for the people who murdered his parents,
his
right?
Or whatever, yeah.
Yeah. Are we? Isn't that Metal Knight? Isn't it Metal Knight?
It's been strongly implied that it's Metal Knight, but none of the characters. It's implied to us. None of the characters actually think that yet, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because Drive Knight was like, Metal Knight is not your friend or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he hasn't he hasn't made any moves against anybody, so it's hard to tell.
Okay, really quick side note before you actually answer that, the question. Y'all remember that gorilla? Who?
Yeah, I was just thinking about him.
I love the gorilla.
And he just tried to sneak away, like, I'm just gonna keep it moving, like. And he's just kind of like living his gorilla robo life now, like, just.
I love that he killed that other monster.
Who?
Didn't he fight a monster in season 2? Like when they were rampaging, either a monster or Garo.
Yeah,
but someone approached the gorilla.
Yeah, I can't.
And
he was wearing a hoodie.
He was wearing a hoodie, and the guy was like, "You're a monster. Are you just blend?" Yeah, it was one of the monsters. Are you just blending in? I think it was like the Kong monster.
Yeah,
it was the gorilla.
The other gorilla
general.
Monster.
Oh yeah, the other gorilla.
And he just wrecked him immediately, and then kept going about his business.
He's like, I'm just gonna keep on moving.
Yeah,
change his life.
The gorilla's great.
Yeah,
that was one of my favorite gags in season 1 when he was doing the robot voice, and then he's like, I'm just a normal guy.
Like, chill out. That whole sequence of events where they try to attack Saitama and like the first two dudes show up and just get embedded in the ground, and then and then they're like, everybody's like, oh man, the tiger guy's here, right? Look at the tiger guy's talking how gangster he is. It's just like that whole series of moments is just gold. Like, gold.
I love when the mole was like trying to escape, and then Saitama's face is just in the ground. Found you. And then just blood comes up the hole.
And he was digging so hard. He was like,
he was digging so hard.
My life.
Found you.
Oh, that
genuinely scared.
That was a great moment. So
to answer the question, I'm not really sure. I feel like I don't know where Saitama's journey is headed. I think with Genos, he's going to get to a point where he's like content as a hero. Probably he'll avenge his village or whoever. King will stay the same. Sonic will stay the same.
Yeah.
Garo will either die or become like a basically a pre-retired hero. He's not going to become a hero. He'll just do heroic things. He'll turn good.
Ooh.
That's my guess.
Okay. Interesting. What about you, Kyle?
So I think that, I agree. I think Genos, I think his story is going to end somehow. He's going to get some sort of closure about what happened. I think Saitama is going to continue to move up the ranks, and I don't know if they'll actually go with him making it to the top of S class, but I think he'll at least get acknowledged and be a part of it, and then maybe find out why he's special. But then I have a feeling they might, just because it's been so tropey, I think they might reveal, like, somehow he's going to lose his powers, or things haven't been as they've seemed all along.
It was all a simulation.
Yeah, I feel like it might take a turn that way, just because everything has been so outlandish.
Bro, I'd be so mad if that happens.
I think a lot of people would be, but
I'll be mad at you personally.
Hey, it's my fault. I'll take the fall. You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. I'll take the fall. That's all I heard. Like, I swear, I'm gonna cut that out in court. Like,
no.
That's interesting.
What about you, Brad?
I feel like what you said, Steve, about like a lot of the characters just being who they are, like Sonic just being Sonic, and like some characters are like just the way that the writer of this like anime / manga writes. I feel like he doesn't write characters with like secret nuances. Like they are just what they are. Like they're not, there's no like redemption story. Like,
that's not true.
Like,
redemption? Surely.
Like, I think characters will maybe not be less bad. Like the gorilla, for example, like he's not evil anymore, but he's not like good. He's just doing his own thing now. It's not like he you know what I'm saying? Like he just
not a dramatic redemption.
Yeah, like I think like characters like King or whoever, like they're just gonna be who they are, and so I feel like Genos is gonna become like number one at S class, right? Like he's gonna probably be. I think he's gonna die, personally. Like
again,
like for real. Like he's gonna die, like saving the world, like maybe killing Metal Knight or something, because Metal Knight's whole goal is probably nefarious, and he's gonna like become the ultimate, you know, symbol of what a hero is, and like he's not gonna, or he's gonna do it, and he's gonna just be, you know, number one S class. I feel like we're gonna find out that the Hero Association is kind of evil, you know, and they kind of know what's going on. Like they had some hand in Metal Knight or something, and I feel like One Punch Man is gonna just stay where he is. Like I don't think he's gonna get
no change at all.
The only thing that I think will happen for him is that he'll fight somebody that'll actually challenge him, but like he'll then become satisfied and like just live his life and to stay as a B class or whatever, A class hero, and like hang out with King, like, and he's just gonna live his life. Like, I just feel like there's no real purpose behind the show. Like, I think it's just what it is. Like,
it's just not going anywhere.
Yeah, like I don't think I just think it's like these characters have their stories and they're gonna end, but there's not like a great moment like that we're gonna get like most animes. Like, I feel like it's Baki the Grappler-esque, in that like Baki the Grappler doesn't really have a point. If like it's just a whole bunch of swole people fighting each other, you know.
Sure.
I feel like that's how season 1 kind of felt, where the show was going, but then season 2 flipped that on its head, kind of by introducing new characters and kind of taking it in a completely different direction away from Saitama. So I feel like they might do something similar again, to where it just throws off all of our predictions because they pulled the rug from under us by completely changing the show again.
I think it's totally possible that Saitama will not progress, like Brad said, but I think the idea that the show will just kind of end with no culminating work or like lesson learned or anything, I don't think that's going to happen. Because it feels like a lot of his characters, the characters are like on some sort of journey And it would be super depressing if that didn't happen.
Like I think like Genos is gonna have a culmination, and I think that's gonna be the only thing that we're gonna get from the show. Dang. But as far as Saitama, like his story is just gonna be, I'm here, and I'm just the greatest. You know, that's my feeling. And I feel like
maybe Saitama dies,
and I feel like the Monster Association is just gonna get murdered. Like they're gonna have this epic battle, and then eventually Saitama's gonna come up, fight the main dude, and it's just gonna be over. Like, and it's just gonna be business as usual, you know? You know. So I don't know. That's like my take. That's interesting. Like I would like to see. Not that I agree with Kyle's opinion, but it'd be interesting if Saitama did get nerfed. Like something happened, and he was like still strong. But he wasn't Saitama strong, you know. Like what would happen? Because he doesn't know how to fight. I think you know.
I'm gonna make a prediction. I'll say that the world moves towards a world where the monsters the monsters can be friendly and can live alongside humans. And I'm sure there's not that everyone is going to be redeemed and everyone's going to be like a good guy, but aside from like the super evil monsters, I think that a lot of monsters will eventually do what the gorilla did and just kind of chill out and live with
Interesting.
humans.
So do you think Garu's going to be like that change? Like he's going to be good and like a monster, and people are going to realize like, oh, you can be a monster and still be a good person. Like maybe
I think he'll be part of it in some way.
Yeah, because at the end of season 2, that big bird
kidnapped
not
him.
the Sesame Street one, but another big bird was bringing him to the Monster Association. So yeah, I think that's definitely a possibility, because it doesn't seem like he necessarily wants to be at war with humans or non-monsters, and so maybe there will be like a conflict where they eventually reach some sort of agreement, and he's at the middle of it since he's a human claiming to be a monster who just wants equality for monsters.
Yeah, it's interesting that they even brought Garu in as a character, right? Like it almost like, because he's not the main villain. Like he was the villain for a while, right? Like they were like, oh no, like we need to catch Garu, like he's killing these people. And then
actually he didn't kill anybody.
Oh, didn't he kill somebody? Or did he just...
I don't think anyone he fought died.
Oh, so he's just
he messed them up really bad,
whooping up heroes.
Yeah, I don't...
Interesting. Yeah. I guess he didn't kill Sharanko, you're right. And he didn't kill any of the tank top squad.
I don't remember trying to kill him. He fought the guys at that conference, the other heroes. I don't remember if he killed them, but I mean, he very well might not have.
I think you might be right.
Yeah, because at the very beginning he killed all those monsters. Or I guess were they villains?
What monsters?
So in the very first scene, when we're introduced to him, he's in a group full of people. Those other people, who are they?
They were just villains.
They were just villains. Okay.
Oh! You're talking about at the headquarters,
at the conference.
Yeah. He did kill but he did kill a hero. He killed like 2 heroes in there.
Oh yeah, they had some A ranks as like security or something.
So he did kill them? That's what I was saying. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they died because he did something
or defeated them.
Because I feel like one of them like legitimately his head was like bursted or something significant. I can't remember. I'd have to go back and watch, but other than that, I don't think he killed anybody. You might be right about that part at least. Yeah, because it would make sense, like, if Garu's whole character was to, like, show that monsters aren't actually evil. They're just, like, hey, human... Misunderstood. And, like, because there's some monster... Like, the weird tentacle girl who came up, like, ooh, I want to... Like, I hear this fighting over here. Like, she was kind of motivated just to fight. You know, like, for something exciting. She wasn't, like... It didn't seem like she was evil more than just, like... bad teenager, like, with powers. You know? Yeah.
Wasn't preying on people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there's... I just feel like this... Like, One Punch Man is just one of those shows where it is what it is. Like, you're not gonna walk away with something deeper. You're just gonna walk away with like something interesting, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah,
you know.
Oh, and for season 3, we also have monster cells. I forgot.
You have monster what?
Like that's like a new mechanic they introduced right at the end.
People turning into monsters.
Eating the
show.
monsters.
They could eat. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I feel like One Punch Man is one of those shows that, especially if you're an anime fan, you definitely have to watch. But also, I feel like you could just enjoy it even if you don't know what's going on. Like, it's
sure.
just so goofy. Like, my mother-in-law enjoyed it. You know, like she's just like watching it, and it's brutal. I mean, it's brutal, but
mother-in-law approved.
You know, so cool. I mean, any last words on One Punch Man? Anything that we didn't cover that you wanted to talk about before we wrap up for the?
I feel like that was my last words. Pretty much wrapped it up for me.
After watching One Punch Man, a lot of superhero media, I think, would do well as a game, and the One Punch Man game that came out from what I heard, it wasn't like, it was playable from what I heard, but it wasn't good. And I've watched some people play it, and so the biggest thing is that Saitama isn't like a truly playable character because of how he is in the show. So they tried to honor, I guess, how strong he is in the show, rather than actually make the game centered around him, because it's a fighting game, 1v1, what do you call, arcade style fighting game.
Okay,
like Street,
like Budokai, like Dragon Ball Z Budokai.
Right, yeah, because I don't think it might be more arena like Jump Force and all those. I can't remember, but yeah, essentially like Budokai, yeah. But you have like a couple on your team. I think you share a health bar or something. I'm not sure if it does that. But anyway, when you pick Saitama to be on your team, he actually doesn't appear like somebody you can switch to during the game. So just kind of give you he's on a timer when you pick him for like a minute and a half. And so you have to survive with your other two characters till he shows up. And then he pretty much one-shots everybody who's on the other team.
Interesting. Like whenever...
Yeah,
Wow. Whenever he goes in the fight, he one-shots them.
Right. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's kind of hard to explain. So if you haven't seen it, then I'd recommend going look up the game. But anyway, I want there to be a good One Punch Man game. That's what I was getting to. So that's my final remarks. Whoever's listening to this, make a good one.
Well, my only last thing to say as we wrap up here is that I think One Punch Man, if there's one thing that is not spoken about, is that they have really cool character design, and they went really, really hard on creating really, really interesting, unique, and like fun characters. I think that's something that makes the show, like, even if they removed One Punch Man, they could do something with it. So
for sure.
Anywho, well, I think it's that time. I thank you guys for, humoring me in this One Punch Man conversation. Thank you, Kai, for your time. Thank you, Steve, for your time.
Always
appreciate you binge watching One Punch Man. Yeah, man, until next time, thank you so much for watching this episode. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. All our different channels, if it's here on Spotify, if it's on SoundCloud, or if it's on YouTube, represent to the YouTube peoples. Please send a like, subscribe. We really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who's been sending us kind words and supporting us throughout all we're doing. We love what we're doing, and we love you guys. So until next time, the Super Agile Bros are out. Peace.